What made you choose your career? In high school, you wanted to be a priest. I understand your father talked you out of that.
That was earlier. I wanted to
Okay.
be in grade school. I wanted to be a priest.
Oh, okay.
But I really idolized my father, and so I've really always admired. I'm not saying I'm some martinet or something, but I've always admired, people in uniform and what they stand for. So I joined the military, and I think a lot of that's because my dad had been in the military. And to me, what I always wanted to do was, in a subconscious way, is I wanted to redeem his sacrifice, because he was in this generation where, they gave everything they had for their children. They faced brutal discrimination. My dad, I always tell people this story. Okay, here was a man, he got 2 Bronze Stars in World War II. He was a captain in World War II. He actually was in some combat situations in World War II. That's very, very unusual. To be a captain and African American in World War II, it's a really big deal. Now, when he got out, what could he do? Well, he got out when he was leaving. The German prisoners of war were treated better than his men, he and his men. The only job he could get was what? He worked in the post office. What did he work? 38 years in the post office. He took like 1 or 2 days off sick leave. Imagine that. All his children went to college. So I said, you know what, I'm gonna do what he couldn't do. And I always tell people this story. When we were growing up, he always took us out on these cheap excursions because we didn't have a lot of money, right? So one of the things he did was he would take us out to the airport, and we would watch the stars. We get on the old propeller planes, and we watched as the propeller planes turned into the jets, and they had all the smoke. And then, we watched this whole kind of scene unfolding kind of every other week or so. We would go out there and watch the planes. And I always wondered, I kind of liked it, because I like out of that, I really came to like airplanes. You couldn't help if you're spending like 4 hours a night watching all these airplanes. I felt like an air traffic controller. We were out there so much. But anyway, I always wondered though, why did he take us out there? And lo and behold, I was telling some people this story about a year and a half ago. My wife and I were flying back here from visiting my family. And when the plane was turning around to take off, I started crying because I realized, what he was saying was, kids, I'm never going to be able to get on this plane because I can't afford it, right? I'm never going to be able to fly on this plane, but I'm showing you life in the promised land. This is life across the river. I can't cross the river, but you're going to be able to cross the river. You do all the things but your mother and I tell you to do. You're going to be on the plane one day. And here we were on this plane, eating peanuts.
Yeah. Does this fascination with planes it's got to account for your having gone to the Air Force? Mm-hmm. And thinking that you would actually fly these planes?
Yeah, but it was during the Vietnam War. It's a bad time to be in the military.
Yeah. Well, how'd you go from counseling draft resistors to going into the Air Force?
Well, it's kind of an anti-war. I don't know I wouldn't try to now organize my thinking in any serious way, because I don't think it was serious, but I was kind of basically anti-Vietnam War, but not really anti-military. And I was in the military, and then I said, well, I really don't want to make this a career, and as a matter of fact, I really don't believe in violence, period. But then I felt, well, the year that I could have been in, but I wasn't in because I got out early, well, I should do some kind of community service to kind of finish out that kind of commitment, It's kind of a mess. I don't know. I wouldn't call myself doctrinaire, categorical, conscientious objector now. But I think the basic approach and philosophy has a lot to be said for it.